aja kalaha aja akapin coba amunuja aja weke tuk papai nyamat tua tambiri.
At the end of the afternoon, the Yamari Kuma begins. It's a ceremony usually reserved for welcoming only the most important visitors. But today, they're dancing for the eclipse spirits. During Yamari Kumas, women are allowed to don the headdresses usually worn by men. The dazzling colours of the headdresses come from birds such as toucan, from which the name of the whole tribe Yawalapichi derives. The Yamari Kuma continues for many hours and eventually comes to an end at dusk. The eclipse ceremonies are over. That night, something unexpected unfolds in the village. Just when they thought their problems were over, there is talk of sorcery. Shortly before nightfall, an incident took place. A woman called Kerry fell into a delirious trance and ran over to the shaman's house, accusing him of witchcraft. 4 days earlier, the shaman predicted that something bad would happen. But not even Ayura could have guessed that it would happen to him. Since nightfall, the shaman's house has stood empty. He's fled Yawalapichi in fear of his life. Though it's only an accusation, Xingu Indians in the past have been known to kill sorcerers, and his family persuaded him to leave for his own safety. Meanwhile, Kere's family have sent a canoe upriver to fetch a famous shaman who they believe can break the spell. Inside the long houses, the villagers are divided on whether Ayura is indeed to blame. Either way, Xingu Indians fear supernatural spirits, but even more, they fear sorcerers. Before dawn, the renowned shaman has already arrived and begun the healing ceremony. First, he inhales smoke, which is considered sacred. There's no narcotic in the cigar, and the trance is self-induced. Nevertheless, it's the gift of a healer to be able to quickly slip into another state of consciousness. The healing ritual is by nature intense. The medicine man is fighting black magic. The shaman has now entered a world that only a medicine man sees and understands. He'll see shapes and objects that tell him what's causing his daughter's illness. A piece of string that he's found nearby suddenly becomes a physical representation of the spell that's strangling Kerry's soul. He cuts through the string, symbolically releasing the spell. Smoke is associated with the spirit world and a constant part of the healing ritual. Kere now relies on her father to remove the power of the sickness through hands-on contact.
Quindi sa quando il lotte hueke yaga ge a quando il hueke ge ha nyen konto ho ku pe ha tui pu ha nyen konto ho ku pe a quando il lotte he tu te la macchina e i pu ga nyen pi lotte ha.
For the rest of the day, the village waits while Kere recovers. Although the eclipse ceremonies are now over, they won't begin the happy Peki festival if anyone is unwell in the village. Meanwhile, 3 elders have been sent out of the village to talk to the spirits of the Peki trees. Before any festival can continue, the men must perform this traditional rite. They will ask the spirits that protect their Peki trees for more fruit in the year to come. The next morning, with the festival back on the agenda, some of the Yawalapichi men have gone to the swamp. They're cutting wood to make carvings of hummingbirds used in the climax of the Peki festival. Shingu Indians believe the tree to be guarded by spirits that take the form of hummingbirds. The fruit of the Peki tree provides them with oil and is also cooked and eaten or made into a drink called mingao. As soon as they brought the wood back to the men's hut, the birds begin to take shape. Bird carving is a man's job, and each one of them takes great pride in his handiwork. Once the carvings are ready, it's time to bring the hummingbirds to life with decoration. The Yawalapichi use the juice of a wild fruit called urukum to get the red color. The hummingbirds are ready. They're left in the most sacred space of the village, in front of the men's hut, where the ancestors are buried. There they will stand until it's time for the bird ceremony to begin. Finally, the villagers return to the celebrations of the Peki festival. Even Aritana is pleased. They've decided to continue with the Alukaka Games interrupted 5 days ago by the eclipse. Starting at the far end of the line, the women try to break off one man at a time. They're allowed to pull, grapple, tickle, thump, pry and squeeze. This, of course, can be painful for the men, and for those watching, highly amusing. Soon, the line will be down to one man, Chuman, the champion wrestler. He must resist all the women together.
Ya pena kau pen, pena tu ya pen. Tadan kuya mera narang itu ya, sampai awak ya, kaya ni upukri awak narang itu ram. Ini aku yang Amerika wah, ada narang itu ram.
Kata tapi kan nak tapi tu kau kena tu, ini nak kau cikgu kau milih, kena milih, tu cai ke.
Kuya mera ihana tak kuah, kuya mera ihana tak, buat kuya mera aku, bayar oleh ihana tak kuya mera.
The Alukaka Games are now over. They began 5 days ago, before the eclipse interrupted the festive occasion and brought great change to the village. Tomorrow, life in the village will return to normal, and they'll remove the elaborate decorations worn at the ceremonies. But there is one final dance to be performed, and for this, the men go to special effort to paint their bodies. The decorations range from butterflies to imaginary beings.
Kaino pa avirio. Luka avirio kari. Asumwa pu lukari. Iruka kaniri. Akaka isumwari iripu. Pauka azuri he wasumwa to ke tapo. Makakuji akaka taha. Makakuji akaka mapali. Makakuji akaka waketika mapali.
The dance of the Pecky Birds is the grand finale of the festival. Inside the long houses, the women wait to join the procession. Each longhouse receives a procession which moves from house to house throughout the afternoon.
Semua alit mana tak awak punya terkinat kali nak katakan ini ajumah tijo tikutakina kata yatama ka itapa kata azut iri katakan ini yatama ka junupa kata yatama no mace tisanuka yatama tawakata ka junupi malwa pa magaw ka semua ali wakar pa magaw kari semua ali wakar pukari nyirukari junupa pa tapo pukari aso ihe petua pukari ka itse pukaira.
Visible to all on the tall poles are the sacred hummingbirds. The Yawalapichi believe that they are carrying the hummingbird spirits around the village. The ceremony comes to an end where it began, next to the men's hut, the most sacred place for the Yawalapichi.
Azuka ali Yawalapiti ka azupo. Yawalapiti nyeri tipu kali azupo. Nyerukari irukawa rata bukari azumua. Ata wati kutawa wuputi pari azumua ajiriu makatwari akan iri ajanya wosnyao uta iri paha video tizana apuja kanau makatari atah pupari a video tizana purapatari pahapa wakaya tapari iri azumua.
The elders take the hummingbird carvings, which they believe still contain the living spirits, away from the village. Once they reach the Pecky tree groves, they will rest them against the trees and return home. Hopefully, the spirits will be satisfied by their ceremonies and rituals, and will bring them a bountiful harvest in the year to come.